The other thing is that you have to accept to be wrong at some point, because it will be impossible to have a 100% win rate. That will never gonna happen. Never, ever. You will fuck up a trade. It doesn't matter how good you are a trader. Still, the funny thing is, every trader thinks they have to win every trade. And if they get an L, they're getting upset and whatever, right? So the thing is yes, it is possible to trade like this. Yes, we showed it hundreds of times. We even proved it with our students when we showed like every single day of the year of EU looked at that. At least one push got traded from one student every single day. There's not one day the whole year where not at least one person caught a trade, like of the pushes. Every single push was traded by one of the students or even by us. So it is possible to trade like that 100%. The thing is, it is not your task to trade like this. It is not necessary. Your task is to make consistent money in the most safe possible and not to be the perfect trader with 100% win rate. Even we sometimes fuck up trades. Of course, 100% we fuck up trades. But everyone thinks like, oh my God, I have to catch 100 trades in a row with wins. It will never gonna happen. It will not happen. So get that shit out of your head. You will make mistakes. You have to start accepting losses, but not ignoring them. You should start looking back, see what you did wrong, perfect, and then analyze what went wrong. Go over your thought process, journal this trade, and learn from it, okay? But also, get it from your mind. And humans, they just love to be right. That some people have a serious issue with being wrong, okay? And they even made another very interesting experiment about that, which proves exactly that. And I want you to get away from trying to be right all the time, because that sometimes can even bring more danger to it. So let me give you a very interesting experiment. And that is the button experiment. So they made an experiment with monkeys and university students, in which they gave them a red button and a blue button. Okay. So once a button was pressed, one of the two buttons got eliminated. And the students and also the monkeys had to guess what button did get eliminated. When they pressed the right button, they got a reward, right? So they have again, button here, perfect buttons. And let's say I press this button, that's the red one, for example. Okay, and then, oh, this button eliminates though. So I'm like, fuck, okay, got it wrong. So then I have to guess again. I press red button again, and then this eliminates. Oh yeah, got it right. Now I get a reward. Okay. So they tried to figure out who's performing better. Okay, just random. That was it. Just press a button, see if you're right or wrong. What they didn't tell them, obviously the monkeys, they couldn't talk to the monkeys anyways, but the red button had an 80% chance of getting eliminated all the time. So it doesn't matter what button you press. 80% of the time, the red button just got eliminated. The blue button obviously only had an 80% chance then. That brings us up to, if you press a button 10 times, 8 times the red button will lighten up, and only 2 times the blue button gets lightened up, right? So they wanted to see who's performing better. So guess what happened? After a few attempts, the monkey realized that when they always just press the red button, they will get most of the time a reward. They just literally sit there and just press the red button, press the bum, 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 bum. Because of course, most of the times, like 80% of the times, they just get a reward for pressing this red button. They didn't know why, they didn't ask it, they didn't try to do calculations, they just pressed the red button over and over and over again, and out of a sudden, just all these snacks and bananas, they started to appear because they got it 8 out of 10 times right. They didn't question it, they were completely fine with that because they got a lot of rewards. But guess what? The university students, they teamed up and tried to always guess it right. And switched obviously from between the red button and the blue button, because again they tried to be right all the time. They wanted to be a 100% win rate, and they switched from red to blue, or maybe 2 times red, maybe 2 times blue, and instead they didn't figure out that actually most of the times the red button got eliminated. So that ended up them only winning 67% of the time overall because they switched it up. Sometimes they chose the blue button and then obviously the right button. But if they would only stick to the red button all the time, they would be right 80% of the time, right? Because again, most people don't accept good results. They look for being perfect, which at the end of the day gives them even worse results than just being good. Again, no one wants to be good. Everyone wants to be the best, right? It makes sense to be the best, but again, to try to be the best, that sometimes brings you worse results than, yeah, if you're just being good. Same thing with trading. Sometimes trader, whatever, if you have like an uptrend up, people be like, oh, I want to catch this exact zero drawdown entry in here, and oh no, break even. Oh, now I try to catch it here. Oh, goes even higher. Now I catch it here. Oh, goes higher. Because they just want to be so impressive to see that they caught the trade right here. That's not the way you should do it. Of course, it looks 10 times more impressive if you're getting a zero drawdown trade. Why you don't get in, for example, here, stop loss is above here, has a much higher possible chance of winning, much more safer. Yes, it doesn't look as fancy. Yes, whatever, it's not as shiny object syndrome as this trade in here. But again, it's not about being shiny and looking good. It's about making money in the market and being consistent. So again, why not take this trade in here, which again is much lower technically, but maybe even can have a better risk reward ratio, and you don't getting 1 or 2 L's before as you try to pick the peak of like a crazy upper movement because you try to catch the reversal perfectly, right? So try to be perfect and be consistent instead. Again, accepting being wrong sometimes and accepting being good, because that's all you need. Again, if you press the red button 10 times, there will be 2 times you will be wrong. But guess what? There will be 8 times you will be right. So what's better? Catching this fancy trade in here, being wrong 3 times in a row, and then you maybe catch it, and your risk reward is even shitty, or like catching this well trade 10 out of 10 time and being right 8 times. That's not that fancy, but it's not about that, right? So red pill or blue pill, red button or blue button. Even when you take the red pill, again, the red button, you will never be right 100%. It's not about that. It's about being consistent and good. Not the best ever in the history. It's just being good, consistent, and make consistent money and get to your life you really want to achieve and all the goals you have. That's what it's about. Not to be perfect and 100% win rate. Okay? So the only question is, does that mean that you should choose the blue pill instead? Of course not, right? So you still should stick to like the proper approaches, right? Even that again, like why would you ever pick the blue button instead? Again, if you have a strategy that works perfectly fine for you, why all of a sudden you decide, oh, let me pick the blue button out of thin air, just maybe so I'm right again 100%. No. Stick to this thing. Stick to the red pill, the red button all the time. 100% to the red pill. And again, you will not be 100% right, but that's perfectly fine. That does not mean that you should mix the red button with the blue button, because again, as we saw in the experiment, that will end you more in a negative thing than a positive. But if you stick to one thing only, be consistent with it, yes, you will not have a 100% win rate, but at least you will have overall 10 times better results. Okay?